Two stints as a Brentford player, 88 to 94, 2005 to 2006. Plenty of players to choose from. Who's up first in goal?
A very tough one. Goalkeepers of, well, back in those days were, I think the first one wasn't allowed to pick the ball up from a back pass because the rules had changed. So they had to, no, you could pick the ball up from a back pass, what am I saying? Then it changed into you could pick it up, but I will go for Stuart Nelson because he's the more modern one out of everybody. There was Graham Benstead, there's a few lone keepers in there. Jerry Payton was one of the lone keepers, but I'll look for Stuart Nelson. He was a good understanding keeper, courageous, he could kick like a mule, good shot stopper by the way, and fun to be around.
Okay, I forgot to mention, what formation are you going for?
I'm going for, because it's Brentford, I'm going for back four, two wingers, two central midfielders, and a quirky little front two.
Okay, 4-4-2. So
4-4-2.
Right back.
Kevin O'Connor. He was a very good 1v1 defender. Great on the set play as well. He was guaranteed he's going to put the ball in from the right angle. If it's free kicks or penalties, there was like you could put your house on it. Is that Kevin's going to hit the target and score the goal. But as I said, a very good one-to-one defender, good pace, good energy getting down the flanks and can whip a good ball in. So I'll have Kevin O'Connor as my right back.
Impressed to see the job that he's gone on to do with the B team as well as head coach there?
Yeah, it's bearing fruit, which is good. That sort of role needs patience, it needs time for players to develop, because players develop at different rates. They need different sort of coaches now compared to when I was first there. So you need coaches that can understand, empathise, but also push. And I think Kevin's character as a player will help the new breed of players coming through, because he's come through all of that generation and he totally understands the modern generation.
So you could see with Kev during your time playing together that he had those leadership qualities to possibly take into coaching.
He was a quiet captain. He wasn't a screamer or a shouter, but he was reliable on, you know, the job that he had to do as a right back and as a captain. As I said, he wasn't a screamer shouter, but he just made sure his game was right and he would encourage the ones around him, particularly his age group. He encouraged them quite a lot.
Okay, so that's right back.
That's the right back. Centre back, I'm going to go for my first period when I was there, Keith Millen. Keith came through the youth team at Brentford, so when I came through the doors he was in that first team. Centre back that can do everything that you needed, could head the ball, could tackle, great organisational skills. But one of the biggest compliments I got from him is that he was composed on the ball, is that he would take the ball down and look to pass his way out, even though it was late 80s, early 90s. So I'll go for Keith Millen.
And partner him at centre half?
Another ball playing centre half. Many might not agree, but I don't really care. I'm going for Michael Turner. Okay. He was in my second phase at Brentford, and could see the development over a period of 18 months when I was here, how much he transformed in terms of, you know, positional sense. Body strength was a massive one, because the first year I was here with him, he was okay, but I remember he got bullied against, I think it was Dean Windass at the time, and we played them the second season. After we spoke to him, we played him the second season, and it was a man against a boy, but it was the other way around. Michael Turner became the man, and he made, no disrespect to Dean, he made him look like a boy, because he physically improved and his positional sense and everything, and again, he was very, very good on the ball. He can set the attacks off.
I've heard it around the place recently. Can you see the comparisons between maybe Michael Turner of that era and Chris Mepham at the moment?
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Meps does have that similarity. Yeah, they're very, very similar, to be fair. But Michael Turner was a very good player, good young player, and he went on to bigger and better things as well. So that's the centre-back pairing.
Okay, strong. Left back.
Left back was tough, because you know all left backs are crazy. don't know about you, but I know most left backs are crazy. I had Billy Manuel at one stage, Roger Stanislaus, Andy Frampton in my second phase. But at the end of my first phase here, I played with a guy called Martin Granger, who was like a no-nonsense left back, could put a mean tackle in. Weren't the quickest, but if he got shoulder to shoulder with you, he would more or less win the ball. He was a competitor, but a bit like Kevin as well. Going forward and having set plays, he was deadly as well. He could whip a ball in. He could also take a mean free kick as well. So I will go Martin Granger.
Strong defensive unit.
Yeah.
Right wing.
Right wing. Neil Smiley from my first period here. As a kid growing up, he was in the first team, and he could play either wing anyway, but he's predominantly on the right wing. So I would look at his sort of character and sort of the way he got onto the ball, his first touch, how he pushed the ball beyond the defender and whip a ball in. So I was to study him when I was in the youth team coming through. So it was a pleasure to play in the team with him, because also he helped me develop with a little bit of pep talks here, there and everywhere, and things to help my game come on. It wasn't just about him, it was just of his age, he was passing on some knowledge, and I really appreciated that.
And would you say you were a kind of student of the game at that stage, coming through? You're trying to learn bits and pieces from all the
yeah, I was. I still study the game now. I always look at people and think, yeah, what can I take from him? What can I take from that person? So Neil was definitely one of those players.
Okay. So that's right wing. Centre mid?
Centre mid, I've got Chris Kamara. When I came through these gates, age 14, he was in the team. And he was just a bundle of energy. He seemed to be able to do everything. Pass, shoot, head, tackle. He'd done everything, and he was getting from box to box with ease with the sort of stature he had. So yeah, he kind of stuck out for me when I first came through these gates.
Not making a joke. I was really tempted. I was going to say unbelievable.
It's unbelievable that he got in my team, but there he is.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Okay. And to partner, Chris Kamara?
Partner Chris, I'm going to go for one of my first captains in the Brentford side, was a player called Keith Jones. He had come from Chelsea, so he came with a great wealth of knowledge, even though he didn't really make the grade there. I think he only had like 50 matches, but he came to Brentford at a time where he was young enough, he had that sort of energy and appetite to kick on. And he was one that could pass a ball, put a tackle in, weren't a goal scorer, but he just done his job, and he made sure other people was doing their jobs as well. So he was another one that really helped my development in terms of encouraged me to maybe not just be my size and be attacked, sort of being hit, because it was a bit of a mismatch at times, me being 6'2" left wing, and most fullbacks were smaller than me, and they would fly into me and I'd be like, what's going on there? And he would say, hit first, argue later. And once I took that on board, I think my game kind of developed because of the time the games were. It was that sort of rough sort of period, and that helped me to overcome a lot of hurdles. So I'd have Keith Jones in there.
Okay, and on the left-hand side?
Andy Simpson, interesting character. He was a right-footed winger, so he could play both wings, but he seems more effective on the left. Why I say interesting, because I always said he's in my spot, so I used him as an inspiration to, like, that's the spot I want. Why is he in my spot? I'm left-footed, he's not left-footed. I can put the ball in how he can't put it in. I can get my fair share of goals. Andy got his fair share of goals, to his credit, and he proved to be a good player because he went on to Premier League, played for England as well. But I used him as something as, I need to be in that side. I'm not going to just sit here and let him just vanish off. I want to push him out of the team. So when they said they were thinking about selling him, in my mind I was like, hey, sell him. I'm ready. I want my spot.
And what's the dynamic like off the pitch between those players who you're in kind of direct competition with for that spot on the field?
For me, I would like to think I kept myself humble. I wasn't braggadocious in saying, I'm going to take your spot. But deep down I was thinking, I want your spot. I need your spot. That's my future on that wing there, and I need to get in there. And I would ask them questions, or I'd be humble enough for them to point out things to improve my game in training. If I was making little fundamental mistakes, I was open for them to tell me, what is it? And most of these players in the team, especially the senior ones, they all added something to my game.
Okay, your first striker.
First striker. Well, we need goals, don't we?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go no better than Dean Holdsworth.
Okay.
I played with him here as a teenager when he first come, and he helped my game in terms of what sort of ball did he want as a centre forward. And I had a tendency at times to bounce a cross in, and he was like, no, don't bounce it in. It needs to be on a volley, up from my head, or flat on the deck. But anything in between, it's going to make it harder for me to try and tap it in. So I took that on board, and he was very patient with me as well, very encouraging with terms of how to put the ball in, little flick-ons for him, where to do it, and all these little things that the normal fan wouldn't really understand that goes on between players out there. But yeah, he kicked on as well to Wimbledon, and I think to his credit, I think he put a word in for the Wimbledon manager to say, look, you want me to get more goals, you need to get my supply man. And then I left Brentford to go Wimbledon 2 years later.
So you have a good relationship with
him.
Yeah,
still got a good one now, still speak to him regularly now.
Okay, and to partner him?
Would the fans know the theme tune to No, he don't know it.
No, I do.
DJ Campbell.
Okay.
There you go, man.
Strong.
He doesn't know his fact. But DJ Campbell.
That was a few years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
DJ Campbell, he had 6 unbelievable months here. Came from non-league. You could see he's got technical ability. Once he got in that team and he had a good understanding and partnership with Lloyd Owusu, he just hit the ground running. And I think one month he got about 8 goals. In January, we had a great cut run through his goals. I remember the morning when we played Sunderland, I said, if you get goals here, I ain't surprised if someone comes knocking. And so he goes and scores 2. We tried to pick up the phone a couple of days later, no DJ's on the phone, next minute DJ's gone. But I really believe that if we kept him on for the rest of that season, we probably would have gone up to the Championship level today. But he moved on. It didn't. I don't think it broke the spirit of the players, but we understood it was a time for him to go. There's a golden opportunity to play Premier League football, so off he went. But good player.
Do you think it's often the case that there's more understanding amongst the players themselves than perhaps the fans when players move on, particularly at a high level?
I think if the high level's there to play, the timing has to be right. Before I eventually left, there was talk 2 years before that the same club was wanting me, and in my head I was like, I ain't ready to go. I don't want to go. Even when I did go, I still didn't want to go because I wanted to finish the season off. I didn't want to go midway, or not midway, but 3/4 of the way through, because I think I had about 8 goals on the wing at that stage, and I wanted to leave with double figures to cement that, yeah, he is ready to go. But the club and the manager had made their mind up, let's take it now and get going. And that's what I did. I kicked on with, my former club, Wimbledon, but it all started from here.
Okay, so you've had a few managers. Who's managing that lot?
Well, it won't be David Webb. It won't be him. The fans don't like him. I didn't really like him either, but...
we'll cut that.
I'll say Phil Holder. Phil Holder, he got the club up to the equivalent of Championship now. He's done a lot for my career and development. He was the first manager that really trusted me in the first team to go out there and do what I could do. So I would say Phil Holder. I saw him here last season with Dean Holdsworth, who came to a match. So that's the first time I've seen him in nearly 20 years. So it was really good to see him. We reminisced about some times and stuff, had a good laugh. But I think, yeah, Phil Holder could manage.
What was he like as a character?
He was a jack of all trades character. He had a lot of humour, a lot of jokes. He was a people's man as well. He was strict, disciplinarian, but you could have a laugh with him and giggle. And most of all, you respected him as well because he's your manager. And he gave some of the youngsters a chance to get in that team. He trusted them back myself personally, and hopefully I repaid him with performing and having a decent career as well. Because that's what you need. You need a manager that gives you that 100% belief.
Great stuff. You stick your signature on here.
It's not the one I use for the bank, so I'm safe.
Sorry, that one.
Oops. No scriggles and no songs. Great.
Cool. All good.